Matt,
Here.
you having trouble calling in, or what's up?
Nina Finger?
I'm here.
Nina. Thank you, Nina.
Um,
Lucio,
Are you there by internet or?
Healer?
I'm here. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Bill
Yeah.
Gerlach.
You're,
Good morning, Lisa.
you don't
Thank
hear.
you. We have a quorum, Sarah.
You want
Okay,
to call
great.
in? Can I give you the phone number?
Just trying to get Matt some sound.
Yeah,
He doesn't,
Matt is going to call in. He's on, but he can't hear anyone. He can see us all, but he can't hear us. So he's going to
okay.
call.
I'm suggesting he sign off, try to get back on. Sometimes that helps. Okay, well, do I need a motion to open the meeting?
Do is declare the meeting's open.
Okay, I declare the meeting's open. The consent agenda.
No, we're not going to do that first. We're going to do the Finance Committee first, Sarah,
Okay,
for CRC.
all right, so open the Finance Committee meeting. I declare that meeting open. We have the minutes of February 2nd, 2021. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
Bill Gerlach, motion.
Gerlach, and I need a second.
Bob Galuccio, second.
Galuccio, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion, minutes are passed. The treasurer's report.
That's going to be Mike.
Okay.
I was on the phone with Cappy. What was where are we on the agenda?
We're waiting for Matt to.
Hi,
sign-
it's Matt Vanderbeck.
Okay, great.
Great, okay.
So I'm just asking for the treasurer's report for CRC.
Good morning. Basically, other than, some minor expenses, we will have the audit expense, and there is a $2,500 grant coming from CEDC to continue assisting and providing funding for the administrative cost of running this organization. Any questions?
All right,
For the
motion-
benefit of those who are, the public who are on the phone, the Columbia County Resource Corporation is an entity that was created under state statute to assist not-for-profits in financing projects. We do have, we have an existing project with a hospital that's outstanding. And so we have to stay in business, but we also want to stay in business because these entities will never be created again. And there may be additional assistance that we could provide to the larger not-for-profits in the county when they undertake major construction, expansion, and development projects. Thank you.
All right, motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll motion.
Bill Gerlach,
Nina first.
Brian
Bill?
Keeler, second.
I'll take Nina and then Brian.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any public comment? Oh, sorry. I'm a little rusty at this. Okay, is there any public comment? Then a motion to close the Finance Committee.
Bob Galuccio, so moved.
second, Bill Gerlach.
Lucio, Bill Gerlach, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're done with the Finance Committee. Then there's the
Now we're going to the Audit Committee.
audit. Okay. I declare the meeting open. And we have the minutes of February 2nd, 2021. Have read those and a motion to approve.
Keeler, so moved.
Keeler
Gerlach, second.
and Gerlach second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have the 2020 audited financial statements.
That's Matt.
So that's.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, hi, this is Matt Vanderbeck, and I'm the partner who's in charge of the audit for 2020. So you have a draft of the financial statements, and just going to point out a couple of things. For 2020, if you look at our report that we're issuing, which I'll just refer to the page, but on page 2, I will have an unmodified opinion. The audit was a fairly straight years, and you can see that there's been very limited activity. The CEDC has been providing a $5,000 contribution to fund the operating expenses for the CRC. So from our perspective, there's no certainty that that funding will continue, even though we have an understanding based on the past and discussions with Mike and the source of the funds that is expected to continue to help fund the operating activities. We do describe that in the footnotes as being something that is necessary right now until you are able to generate additional revenue through new projects or funding that you may, I know that you're working to try to procure going forward. So if you look at that page 5, that just shows you the activity, and really at the end of 2020, you have $2,500 of cash in the bank, and that's pretty much what the balance sheet looks like on page 7. So the biggest thing here is, from an audit perspective, is the continued support in looking to see that there's proper cash flow going out for going concern purposes. Other than that, we have nothing else to go over with you or to report for the CRC.
thanks. Is there a drop dead date that we have to, like, is March of next year kind of a drop dead date, or can we just?
Well, the using is just because we'll be issuing these statements by the end of March. Once they get approved, we'll be issuing them maybe as early as this week. So we just have to look out 1 year beyond that date from an auditing perspective. As far as your perspective, I mean, there's been a pattern over the last 3 years where there's this continued funding that's there. It's been about $5,000, and that will be necessary just to keep the organization running until you're able to generate some other sources of revenue.
Yeah, because we still see the need. So, okay, thank
Right.
you.
So that's where the money has to come from for now, at least.
Okay. All right. Motion to accept the financial statements. Thank you.
Nina, I'll motion.
Okay, Nina,
Gerlach second.
Gerlach second. All in favor? Aye. Good. All right. Is there any public comment? All right. Motion to close the audit committee meeting.
Make the motion. Piero.
Zero second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Now we go to Lisa.
We're going to the full board.
Full board. Okay. Let me see where I have that. All right. The full board meeting is now open. We have the consent agenda. Committee reports and consent agenda. Lisa, you have to help me again. Is that?
The consent agenda will be the audited financial statements and the treasurer's report.
Oh, I see. All right. So I need a motion to approve the audit committee's report of the 2020 audited financial statements and required correspondence.
And the treasurer.
We'll do them both at once?
Yes.
All right. And the treasurer's report. I need a motion and a second.
Nina, motion.
Motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we have the draft minutes of February 2nd, 2021 as presented. I need a motion to approve those.
Motion, Gerlach.
Gerlach
Yes.
and anybody else out there? Cappy, are you on? You want a second?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's all breaking up. I'm having a lot of trouble.
I know we're all-
Okay, Piro, second.
Okay, so all in favor of
Aye.
accepting minutes?
Aye.
Okay. Motion approved. All right, the administrative director's report.
on speaker.
Okay.
I have nothing else to report other than.
You have
what
to,
I shared at the
sign
committee.
in.
I'm listening now. Where's the speaker?
Ed, we can hear you.
Hold on.
Okay,
You have to go to your main screen. And then, I'll show you on mine.
somebody's getting directed here.
You
All
have to
right.
go to this,
You have to sign off and sign back.
like when you're in your phone, and you have the,
Is that Matt? Can you mute?
you need to be on this screen.
No, it's Ted. I don't think you can hear us.
It's who's ever 14.
What about, do I need to mute then?
If you could,
Yeah.
as long as you're not talking, you don't have to mute.
You want me to mute?
Well, someone is talking to some woman in the background, getting directions for something.
Yeah, that was me. I'm
That's-
sorry.
Okay, if you can mute when you're not talking. Thanks, Ted.
Okay.
Okay, we are at the confidential board evaluation, which we need, if you've all read those, there's mostly agree with a few somewhat agrees in there, which I think looks good for us. So the motion to approve those.
Piro, I make the motion.
Okay, Piero,
I'll second Nina.
Lucio second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion approved, opposed. All right, that motion passes. All right, we've got the 2020 Paris report review. Lisa, do you want to?
I can do that, just, sorry, I'm multitasking.
Yeah,
Actually, nothing has changed. The first few pages, the compliance, we go through the board compliance, which everyone is up to date on. Sorry about the background noise. We go through staff, which we have to report on, but we do not pay. Then we have subsidiaries. We do not have any subsidiaries. We list our financials. Net ask, which has been checked. We have outstanding debt, which we did have during the period, which was Columbia Memorial Hospital. Personal property documents, which we did report on. We do have the documents. We will be posting those soon. As soon as we authorize all this, we can Paris report in and submit it. We have information about Columbia Memorial Hospital, and we address the audit for 2020. We need to have the audit in order to submit all of this. We answer those questions. We do submit an annual investment report, which also needs to have the audit, so we will have that ready for posting as soon as we get the audit approved. The procurement we address, and that would be the end of it.
all right, for our audience too, we have to do these the Paris reports yearly, and it's a 25-page document that with a lot of, keeps us on our toes. So do we need to approve that? I don't see a star on here.
You don't have to approve it. We just have to note that you looked at it, reviewed it, and I know we distributed it.
Right.
if anybody has any questions, if they feel, they should feel free to call Mike or Aaron or I. We will review it one more time or a couple more times before we submit it, just to make sure that everyone's on board.
Yeah, it looked all right to me. Okay, we're up to public comments. Do we have any public comments? Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, Piero.
Bill Gerlach, second.
Piero and Gerlach, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, we will now go to, page out here. I'll open the Columbia County Industrial Development Agency meeting.
Nope, the Finance Committee, Sarah.
Oh,
Sorry.
I printed out the main one, but I don't have the other ones up here. All right, Finance Committee meeting. Okay. It's pretty nice on the computer. You can have all these up and just pull them up. All right, bear with me here. We are now opening the IDA Finance Committee. And we have the draft minutes of February 2nd, 2021. We have a motion to approve.
So moved, Euler.
Nina, second.
Keeler and Finger Smith, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have the treasurer's report.
We, you've just reviewed the 12/31 report, and you've reviewed the report from the Paris. There's been no change. We did receive a $5,000 escrow deposit, which is being held by council for the potential sale of the property in the Commerce Park.
Okay.
But there's been, other than, accruing additional monthly or quarterly fees from the IDA payable to CEDC for administrative services, you don't really see any activity. Any questions?
No, I don't think so. All right, motion to approve.
Gerlach motion.
Piero, second.
And Gerlach and Piero, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I do, Madam Chair, I do want to thank Erin McNary for her work in getting the pilot payments paid at the beginning of the year. There's work not only in getting information from the outstanding IDA bond projects for Paris, but also the documents, pilot agreements require the collection of the funds from the owner of the company, and then the IDA remits those payments to the 3 taxing jurisdictions. So there was not only that Lisa and Erin have done for Paris, but also with respect to pilot agreements.
Definitely, thanks. I know that a lot of this is just a lot of paperwork that has to be complied with yearly. All right.
Just a public comment, Sarah.
Okay. Public comments. Thank you. Thanks to Lisa with it. Do you have any public comments? All right. Motion to close the IDA Finance Committee.
Piero
Piero,
makes the motion.
Galuccio second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, that meeting is closed. Now we are on to the IDA Audit Committee. I will declare the committee open. We have the draft minutes of February 2nd, 2021. There any comments or a motion to approve the draft minutes?
Bob Galuccio, so moved.
Galuccio
Gerlach, second.
and Gerlach second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Minutes are carried. Okay, the 2020 audited financials.
Okay, this is Matt Vanderbeck again.
All right.
I'd like to reference the draft of the financial statements, and again, I'll point you to a few of the pages just to see some of the highlights and a couple of things to go through with the group. If we start this case on page 6, so there's the MD&A, the management discussion analysis, that goes through highlights and analysis, and then behind that is the actual statements and footnotes. You'll see a comparison of 3 years of activity, and when you look at the 2018, 19, and 2020, you'll see the budget, the expenditures have been very consistent. In 2018, it was $36,800. You're at $38,800. So there's been a change of about $2,000 over the 3-year period, and you'll see that that budget has been consistent. The majority of the expenditures over that period was the administrative fee that was being paid or has been paid to the CEDC for administrative support. On the revenue side, you'll see that the revenue has fluctuated around $8,000 to $9,000. So when you look at the pattern for the change in net position over the last 3 years, you'll see that that's also consistent with a loss of about $28,000 to $31,000. Your expenses have exceeded the revenues, again, due to not having sufficient projects or revenue that's being generated from those and pilots that would help offset those operating expenses. So the biggest point for me to bring to your attention at this point is over the last couple of years, we've talked about it, but at this point, if you were to continue to have the same pattern in 2021, you'll see that you'll exhaust your assets that you have. So this is to the point where, again, I need to bring to your attention that considering 1 year out past now, there is a risk and uncertainty that needs to be addressed, which in my report, we do point out that this is something that exists and the organization will need to address this going forward, either through generating additional revenue or potentially curtailing some of the operating expenses. So at this point,
So we should be, we're certainly aware of the fact that there have not been IDA projects since the Wick Hotel, but there's a lot of activity in the county, and we have been working with the Clock Distillery in anticipation of their doing a IDA project. The issue has been that the pandemic put them behind by a year. So we appreciate the obligation that our auditor has to point this out, but we are confident that there'll be sufficient funds to continue running the IDA.
yeah, and that's how we've taken that assertion, and that's understood, and we are basically just pointing that risk out to the readers when they see the statements. But as Mike says, that is just an obligation that we have to disclose. When you look at page 7, this will give you a picture of what the balance sheet looks like at the end of 2020. So when I said there was about $34,000 of net assets, you'll see that in the net position at the bottom of the page on page 7. And then when you look at the assets, the majority of your assets, $41,000 of them are in a money market and checking account at the end of 2020. You did have a land sale receivable that was paid early, about $12,000 last year, but then you also had, on the second one that you have outstanding, there was a deferral due to the pandemic. So you don't see that there was a pay down of that loan receivable at the end of 2020. So that's some of the activity for the 2 outstanding loans that you have related to the outstanding land sale receivables, which you then remit back to the county. The timing too, for cash flow management purposes, you can see where you have, and it's just timing, you have an amount due to the CDC at the end of the year of about $6,000 this year, where you didn't have that last year, but that's just more of a timing issue at that point. When you look at the overall reports, again, there's nothing to report as far as any issues. The management had everything prepared and the audit went well. We have no control findings. We had no audit adjustments. We had very minor differences that you'll notice on the other letter that was issued, the required communication letter, but they're immaterial items. So we felt that the audit went well and management was well prepared, and we're ready to issue the report again this week.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll
think
just add one more thing. Just when we talk about the Paris report, we do review that Paris report and tie out the information from the financial statements to the Paris report, just so you know. We don't provide a separate any report or opinion that says we do that, but that is something that is happening to make sure that the information is flowing to those reports as well.
Oh, that's good to know. Thanks. All right, thank you
welcome.
very much. Now I've lost my. So now we need a motion to approve the 2020 audited financials.
Lucio, so moved.
Keeler, second.
Galuccio and Keeler, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments. All right, motion to close the meeting of the IDA Audit Committee.
Piero, make the motion.
Gerlach, second.
Hero and Gerlach, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Audit Committee is closed.
Hello,
Now,
Sarah. This is Matt. I'm gonna leave the meeting now.
all right, thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Bye
All
bye.
right, bye.
Thank you, Matt.
The
Now-
full, Sarah,
Pardon?
to the full,
Now we're on full board. Okay. I declare the meeting open. We have a consent agenda of the Audit Committee and the Finance Committee. Can I have a motion to approve those two committees' reports?
Nina, I'll motion.
Gerlach, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have the draft minutes of February 2nd, 2021. Can I have a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion, Piero.
Okay, Piero
I'll second.
Gerlach,
and Nina, second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have the confidential board evaluation, which looks pretty similar to the CRC. Can I have a motion to approve the confidential board evaluation?
Lucio, so
I think we've got two. Lisa, did you get that?
no, I didn't, I missed that one.
I think we have Gerlach and I need another,
Lucio.
Galuccio. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, hang in there. Review of 2020 Paris report.
It is similar to the CRCs. The answers are all pretty much the same board. The financials are in, they have been reviewed. Everything looks good. We'll go over it a couple more times, and as Matt said, they have reviewed the financials, so that's all that.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the Paris report?
You don't have to have a motion, Sarah.
Oh, it's got a star here.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was my mistake.
All right, trying to.
I
All
got-
right, we've done the Paris report. Now we're with the administrative director's report. Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. As I mentioned, we did have email from John Frischkoff from Clock Distillery indicating that they were close to completing financing with a UDAG guarantee and that he was dusting off the IDA documents and materials and would be in touch. Are working on we anticipate submitting the notice today to the ABO in connection with both the potential sale of Lot 8 in the Commerce Park to SAD Development for a wholesale dry goods distribution facility, which would be 5,000 to 7,000 square feet in the town of Claverack. And we also would advise the state about the potential, the anticipated transfer of an easement to Columbia County of property that they had previously transferred to us, and the easement is for the purpose of installing the new sewer line. And, you know, it's critical that we make that transfer back to them so they can do that, so that all of the businesses in the park have the ability to participate and utilize that new sewer line that will bring, will process the effluent at the Greenport sewer treatment plant and the facility at the Commerce Park, which is 35 years old and under a DEC consent order can be closed.
We're not holding anything up there, are we? That's not holding anything up
No.
for the sewer thing, okay.
And you know, and obviously, you know, this land was transferred to us by the county for the purposes of development. We've had a number of issues on solar, and I see some of our guests today, I know, are very interested in solar. I did, at the request of, or at our own request, at the request of the IDA board and the CEDC board, they wanted to be kept up to date on the Copake project. I sent them on March 1st an email alerting them to the meeting that was held in Copake, the public meeting. I guess you know, there were a very large attendance from what Mr. Darian Johnson had pointed out to me. And I also sent on March 8th a follow-up with an article that was in IMBY, as well as the link to the recording for those board members that did not have the opportunity to attend when the meeting was held. I know there were several board members from CEDC and the IDA who participated in the meeting itself. With respect to solar projects in Claverack, Livingston, Kinderhook, and Stuyvesant, at the request of Chairman Matt Morrell of the Board of Supervisors, I have been coordinating pilot agreements through CEDC because those projects are seeking pilots under the 487 real property tax law provisions and are not, it does not involve the IDA. There's you know, provisions of the real property tax law that require the developer to provide 60-day notice to the municipalities, and if they respond that they would like to enter into a pilot, those negotiations are directly with the developer and the municipality, but CEDC is administering that, the county, putting together the packages for the county. These are 5 megawatt solar projects on 20 to 30 acres. And you know, the county's position, as you know, is to support projects only in towns where there is local support at the town board level for the project. And in each of these cases, there were 3 projects in Claverack, 1 in Livingston, and 1 that is just in Kinderhook, and possibly 1 in Stuyvesant is just getting underway. But we have waited until the town board approves the pilot before the county goes ahead and enters into an agreement. Basically, these agreements have been 50% to the school district and 25% each to the town and the county. And the developer continues to pay the tax at 0% on the underlying real property and on all special district assessments, which would be fire, library, lighting, depending on water, depending on where the project's located. The only, I don't think I have any other matters to report. Are there any questions?
Well, I have one. I want to say, put on the record that I did attend those meetings. So for the Shepherd's Run, the big question, I guess, is home rule. Is there going to be, or do you know of any lawsuits on that or pending decision of how?
My understanding is from Supervisor Mettler that the developer is continuing to pursue the Article 10 process, but in the last 2 weeks, the state did finalize the regulations for the expedited process, and there was some flare up at local levels this week when the state siting board approved for 3 or 4 projects around the state, completely overriding any local zoning so I don't, until the state rules one way or the other, or the developer decides which process they're going to use at Copake, I don't know that there's any ability to bring an action, but I'm certain that there will be one if the state takes similar action to what it did in the 3 or 4 projects that were approved this week.
Yeah, I know they put up a slate of about 10 of them, and I saw Shepherd's Run was on there. So the 3 that have been approved were on that list.
Yes, I think that what we saw was in the governor's State of the State message, which Commissioner Poole presented for Columbia and Greene counties online a few weeks ago, that they cited the Shepherd Run project as an example of projects that support the governor's energy policy, but it was unrelated to where they are in the regulatory process. And hopefully at the public comment period, if any of the representatives from the Sustainable Rural Solar Group or others would like to weigh in, I'm sure we'd be happy to hear from them.
All right, I'll open for public comments. Anybody like to talk to us at this point? I guess not. All right, so in the view of no public comments, we will have a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make the motion, Piro.
Bureau,
Second, Gerlach.
Gerlach, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you
you all
very
very
much,
much.
everybody,
Sarah, thank you.
for your help. Thanks,
Sarah,
everybody.
thank you very much, everybody. I lost power. I lost internet.
I know when this wind is going to end.
I don't know.
All right.
It's almost like the Wizard of Oz, the house up here, the wind.
Yeah. Huh.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
Bye.